Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start today's session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue today's sessions. Today, we have very important commemoration, that is International Day for Eradication of Poverty. International Day for Eradication of Poverty, with the theme this year, with the theme Dignity for All in Practice. So the COVID-19 pandemic is likely to have pushed between 143 and 163 million people into poverty in 2021. The COVID-19 pandemic is expected to have increased poverty by 8.1% in 2020 relative to 2019 from 8.4% to 9.1%. The number of people living under international poverty lines for lower and upper middle income countries is projected to have increased in the poverty rate of 2.3 percentage points. Almost half of the projected new poor will be in South Asia and more than a third in sub-Saharan Africa. In the Middle East and North Africa, extreme poverty rates nearly doubled between 2015 and 2018, from 3.8% to 7.2%, spurred up the conflicts in Syrian Arab Republic and Republic of Yemen. Current projections indicate that shared prosperity will have dropped sharply in nearly all economies in 2020-2021. As the pandemic's economic burden is felt across the income distribution, COVID-19 has already been the worst reversal on the path towards goal of global poverty reduction in last 3 decades. So this year, 2022, the theme for International Day for the eradication of poverty is dignity for all in practice. The commitments we make together for social justice, peace, and the planet. Dignity for all in practice is umbrella theme of the International Day for the eradication of poverty for 2022-2023. The dignity of human being is not only a fundamental right in itself, but constitutes the basics of all other fundamental rights. Therefore, dignity is not an abstract concept. It belongs to each and everyone. Today, many people living in the persistent poverty experience their dignity being denied and disrespected. With the commitment to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure all people everywhere enjoy peace and prosperity. The 2030 agenda again gestured towards the same promise established under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Yet, the current reality shows that 1.3 billion still live in multidimensional poverty, with almost half of them children and youth. Inequalities of opportunities and income are sharply on the rise, and each year the gap between the rich and poor gets wider. In the past year, as millions struggle through erosion of workers' rights and job quality to make it to another day, corporate power and the wealth of billionaire class have recorded an unprecedented rise. Poverty and inequality are not inevitable. They are the result of deliberate decisions or inaction that disempower the poorest and marginalized in our societies and violate their fundamental rights. The silent and sustained violence of poverty, social exclusion, structural discrimination, and disempowerment makes it harder for people trapped in extreme poverty to escape and denies their humanity. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted this dynamic, exposing social protection system gaps and failures, as well as structured inequalities and diverse forms of discrimination that deepen and perpetuate poverty. In addition to this, the climate emergency constitutes new violence against the people living in poverty, as these communities are duly burdened by more frequent occurrences of natural disasters and environmental degradation, leading to the destruction of their homes, crops, and livelihoods. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the World Day to Overcome Poverty and the 30th anniversary of the International Day for Eradication of Poverty. This day honors the millions of people suffering from poverty and their daily courage and recognize the essential global solidarity and shared responsibility behold to eradicate poverty and combat all forms of discrimination. In a world characterized by unprecedented level of economic development, technological means and financial resources, that millions of persons are living in extreme poverty in a moral outrage. Poverty is not solely an economic issue, but rather a multidimensional phenomenon that encompasses a lack of both income and the basic capabilities to live in dignity. Persons living in poverty experience many interrelated and mutually reinforcing deprivations that prevent them from realizing their rights and perpetuate their poverty, including dangerous work conditions, unsafe housing, lack of nutritious food, unequal access to justice, lack of political power, limited access to health care. As the international community embarks on the third decade for the eradication of poverty, an estimated 783 million people lived on less than $1.90 a day in 2013, compared with 1.867 billion people in 1990. Economic growth across development countries have been remarkable since 2000, with faster growth in gross domestic product, that is GDP per capita, than advanced countries. This economic growth has fueled poverty reduction and improvements in living standards. Achievements have also been recorded in such areas as job creation, gender equality, education and healthcare, social protection measures, agriculture and rural development, and climate change adaptation and mitigation. So, the estimates of the potential short-term economic impact of COVID-19 on global monetary poverty through contractions in per capita household income or consumption show that COVID-19 poses a real challenge to the UN Sustainable Development Goal of ending poverty by 2030, because global poverty could increase for the first time since 1990, and depending on the poverty line, such increase could represent a reversal of approximately a decade in the world's progress in reducing poverty. In some regions, the adverse impacts could result in poverty levels similar to those 30 years ago recorded. Under the most extreme scenario of a 20% income or consumption contraction, the number of people living in poverty could increase by 420 to 580 million relative to the latest official recorded figures for 2018, with reference to wider working paper 2020 by 40. The observance of the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty can be traced back to 17th October 1987. On that day, over 100,000 people gathered at the Trocadero in Paris, where the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was signed in 1948 to honor the victims of extreme poverty, violence, and hunger. The proclaim that poverty is a violation of human rights and affirm the need to come together to ensure that these rights are respected. These convictions are inscribed in a commemorative stone unveiled on this day. Since then, people of all backgrounds, beliefs, and social origins have gathered every year on October 17th to renew their commitment and show their solidarity with the poor. Replicas of the commemorative stone have been unveiled around the world and serve a gathering place to celebrate the day. One such replica is located in the garden of United Nations headquarters and is the site of the annual commemoration organized by the United Nations Secretariat in New York. Through Resolution 47 by 196, adopted on 22nd December 1992, the General Assembly declared 17th October as International Day for the Eradication of Poverty and invited all states to devote the day to presenting and promoting as appropriate in national context concrete activities with regard to the eradication of poverty and destitution. The resolution further invites intergovernmental and non-governmental organizations to assist states at their request in organizing national activities for the observance of the day and requests the Secretary General to take within existing resources the measures necessary to ensure the success of the day observance by the United Nations. October 17th represents an opportunity to acknowledge the efforts and struggle of people living in poverty, a chance for them to make their concerns heard, and a moment to recognize that poor people are first ones to fight against poverty. Participation of the poor themselves have been at the center of today's celebration since its very beginning. The commemoration of October 17th also reflects the willingness of people living in poverty to use their expertise to contribute to the eradication of poverty. UNESCO is convinced that the sustainable fight against poverty requires the strengthening of individuals' capacities through education, science, and support for creative economy, which are the source of employment as well as the pride and dignity. UNESCO puts all its expertise at the service of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and in particular Goal 1, end poverty in all its forms and everywhere. Ending poverty is not just helping the poor, it is giving every woman and man the chance to live with dignity. By eradicating poverty, all humanity will be transformed. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration. Today is also World Trauma Day. It is observed each year with an emphasis of saving lives and how to properly attend to emergency cases. The day is structured to create increased awareness about trauma and to educate public on the ways to address traumatic incidents and deaths. So traumatic injuries have caused more deaths of people below the age of 45 than malaria, HIV/AIDS, and tuberculosis. Furthermore, over 9% of deaths around the world are caused by traumatic injuries. World Traumatic Day observation seeks to lower these rates. World Traumatic Day was created in New Delhi, India in 2011. This was a result of high number of deaths caused by road accidents in the country. An estimate of over 400 people lost their lives each day to it. The day was created to reduce injuries and deaths as well as after effects of trauma incidents in the country and the world at large. Road accidents are considered to be one of the most common causes of traumatic experiences around the world. Traumatic experiences from military operations, domestic abuse, and sexual assaults follow shortly behind. These experiences, if not handled properly, can result in the victim suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. According to the accounts dating back to 5th century BC, trauma was visible in ancient Greece and also reported among soldiers during American Civil War in 1860s. World War II came with the developments on how trauma was conceived by many. Soldiers were then allowed to take a break from the war to clear off their heads and then return to wars later on. During the Vietnam and Korean Wars, the use of talk therapy for trauma begins on to hold ground. Then Veterans Administration, which is now known as the United States Department of Veteran Affairs, started a group therapy program for PTSD victims. The commemoration of World Trauma Day, on the other hand, guarantees that the people are well informed about how to cope up with trauma and to avoid when it is possible. So the earliest trauma occurrence was in 5th BC. Herodotus tells a Spartan commander who excuses soldiers that are out of it to partake in wars despite their proven bravery. An early PTSD observation in London, Londoners became anxious and sleepless after surviving the Great Fire of London in 1666. In 1979, a bill for reaching out to veterans, the bill for creating outreach centers for Vietnam veterans with PTSD, is passed into law in America. In 1910s, British soldiers are executed for cowardice. Over 300 British soldiers suffering from shock are executed. The observation of World Trauma Day begins in India as a way to raise awareness and curtail the incidents of frequent car accidents in the country in 2011. Since then, World Trauma Day is observed. Domestic violence trauma affects not just victim but also children and the family members who witness it. Trauma is a mental and psychological condition that is experienced by victims of traumatic experiences. Shock may be experienced by traumatic people at first, followed by denial and disbelief. They may also have trouble concentrating on tasks. Some people may become needlessly furious and experience mood swings, worry, and anxiety as a result of traumatic events. Some people may even retreat altogether from society. Among the other things, a traumatized person can develop disorders such as PTSD. Aside from that, a traumatized individual is at high risk of becoming addicted to drugs or alcohol as he or she resorts to taking them to forget the traumatic experience. So this day can be commemorated by educating the public about the causes and effects of traumatic events, which will enable people to become aware of any trauma they are experiencing and seeking assistance. Engaging in a conversation with a friend, relative, or a stranger who is traumatized, be empathetic and kind towards them. Sharing their traumatic experience with you will relieve them of some of the weight of their shoulders and help them feel better. Advocate for better road conditions since road accidents are a leading cause of trauma. Push for better road conditions. Additionally, encourage the proper road usage. Approximately 8 out of every 100 people are bound to experience PTSD at some point in their lives. And women have higher chances of experiencing PTSD as compared to men, as opposed to popular beliefs. Not every PTSD victim experiences flashbacks. And showing face to face support to PTSD victims helps them feel better than sending love from far away. And the duration of having PTSD is relative to the number of times a victim is exposed to the particularly traumatic incident. So, World Traumatic Day broadens our understanding of trauma and teaches us how to respond to emergency crises. It educates the general public on how to care for traumatized victims on a variety of levels. One of the activities to remind people about the importance of traumatic care is this will allow them to receive better care, and it fosters togetherness, and parts of the effects of trauma are anxiety. On this day, it reminds people about the importance of better trauma care. This will allow them to receive better care, and it fosters togetherness. Parts of the effects of trauma are anxiety and withdrawal. So this day helps to make trauma victims feel loved and cared. Today is also known as Child Poverty Day, also referred as International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. According to UNICEF, approximately 356 million children live in extreme poverty. Child poverty has been a long been an issue that requires immediate attention, since children living in poverty are considered to be susceptible to dying before the age of 5. This is because children are sensitive and the way they are raised takes a toll on their physical and mental health. And however, apart from material goods, the United Nations Children's Fund believes that the children have or living in poverty are those who experience deprivation of the material, spiritual, and emotional resources. needed to stay alive, develop, and thrive. The age bracket of children suffering from poverty mostly includes people below 18, a time when the youth can make or break their future based on their circumstances. According to Child Fund International, child poverty also increases as lack of rights and safety. And while US is a developed country, you will be shocked to know that in 2018, nearly 11.9 million children were living in poverty in this country. Moreover, it was also discovered that the child poverty is related to both age and race. For instance, nearly 73% of poor. And while this means that nearly so while the US is a developed country, you will be shocked to know that in 2018, nearly 11.9 million children were living in the poverty in the country. Moreover, it was also discovered that the child poverty is related to both age and race. For instance, nearly 73% of poor people in America are children of color. This means with an average household income of $70 a day for 4 people, children are likely to drop out of school, unable to attend college, and hence have little or no white collar employment prospects. So the first commemoration of World Day to overcome poverty takes place in Paris, France in 1987, and a fall in decline in poverty rates for Black and Latino children from 35.6 million the previous year to 31.9 million in 1993. And the International Committee for the October 17th is launched in 2008, and 10.6 million children died before age 5, an equivalent of the total child population of France, Italy, Greece, and Germany in 2003. So Luxembourg, with adjusted GDP capital of dollars 1,17,846, stands the richest country in the world. And the United States topped the chart, having the highest rates of child poverty at 20.9%. And Iceland has the lowest poverty rate among OECD's 38 member countries. So to celebrate or commemorate, visit an orphanage. A lot of children living in orphanages suffer from poverty. Ensure to go along with some books, foods, toys, and clothing items for them. The best way to celebrate the day is to lend your hand in creating awareness regarding the cause and spread the message and sponsor a child And even in sub-Saharan Africa, the condition is more or less same. 247 million children in sub-Saharan Africa live in poverty, and about 663 million children live without food, shelter, education, etc., and are deprived of basic needs. And there are about 356 million children worldwide living in extreme poverty, and the highest child poverty rate is present in the countries such as US, Israel, Turkey, and China. And 1 in 5 children lives in poverty in some of the world's richest country. You see, the US has tops in the child's poverty, and it sheds light on child poverty, as this day it provides information regarding child poverty and what causes are and how we can end child poverty. And it also creates awareness regarding the suffering of children. It urges the government to take action. And since every year this day is important and needs to be celebrated, since it brings forward crucial statistics that urge the government to take quick actions to eliminate poverty, bring it to the attention of governments. Due to awareness spread on this date regarding child poverty, many organizations and wealthy individuals donate to charities to help suffering children and necessities. So take time out to make a donation, however small it may be, and spread the message. And this week, we have weekly commemorations. Design Conscious Week. Basically, this is in Philippines. Every year, Republic of Philippines celebrate Design Conscious Week during third week of October as a proud cultural heritage. So this festival will take place this year from October 17th to the 23rd. Organizes a week to celebrate creativity and quality of design in Philippines, as well as the country's road to being one of the world's top-most exporters of quality designs. This week usually includes design sessions and panel talks about ways to enhance various aspects of design ecosystem. The event has rapidly grown in popularity among designers. Since 2011, many people have been looking forward to Design Conscious Week held in the Philippines. Its genuine and organic approach to making design accessible and building a creative community that welcomes everyone, along with its warm, fun, and punchy vibe, have made it an important of the Philippine design culture. Design Conscious Week not only celebrates a milestone for Philippine design, but the week also highlights the role of design as a tool for making impact-driven connections within the design ecosystem. On the 10th anniversary of the Philippines' biggest design event, a brand new design infrastructure was unveiled. Its purpose was to find out more ways for the country design exports to help the economy. The event took place in October 2011, and it included master classes from influential design thinkers who helped make the new design framework. At the event, there was also a virtual workshop and a multimedia show where many talented artists show off their amazing creativity and skill. This week-long celebration has also grown to include creative spaces for kids to use after school. These spaces show kids how to use modern art tools and encourage them to be creative. During the Philippines Design Week, there are also performances by artists who use different styles of art. With technology making it easier to connect with people all over the world, this week is a great chance for designers to work together on new ideas for the future. So design involves problem solving and creativity. A design may be a mere plan that does not include a production or engineering process, although working knowledge of such process is usually expected of designers. And there are four major types of design, including business, enterprise, product, and execution design. Good design serves a purpose, communicates a message, and it is aesthetically pleasing at the same time. And Philippines is a very good, beautiful country, and make sure you attend design events and workshops from both indigenous and foreign design. Become inspired to be a better designer during this week by keeping tabs on various exciting design events. From interactive sessions to virtual tours, there is never shortage of design content to inspire creativity. You can also follow various designers on social media and learn about modern tools that inspire the future of design. And with so many technological tools aiding modern designs, all you ever need to create is literally in your smartphone. Get creative on Design Conscious Week and paint a picture, or create a beat, or whip up a new form of art. There are no boundaries. So visuals are the best form of learning. The human mind processes visual information 60,000 times faster than text. So the visual aids have been found to increase the learning process by up to 400%. The first lowercase sans serif type with its 7-line grotesque was designed by William Thorogood and released in 1834, opened in 1989. London's Design Museum is housed in what used to be Banana Warehouse in 1940s. The MTV logo was designed in 1981 by Manhattan Design and New York studio known for its edgy music industry work. A Buddhist text known as Diamond Sutra is found to be the oldest surviving printed manuscript. So conversations during this week's center are leveraging the strengths of creative hubs and communities. Purpose is to spark change in diverse sectors across the world. For decades, designs have been used to summarize chunks of text, and this ability to convey as much as information as possible, as fast as possible, is highly desired by business and brands across the world. Whether it's physical masterclass sessions or the visual tools, designers can actually easily find a platform to share ideas. This improved collaboration makes it easier to produce unique designs. It also inspires the educators, young designers to know the rules as well as think outside the box. And this week is also energy saving week in United Kingdom. It's tough to ignore reality that energy prices are rising for the majority of UK citizens this year. Prices for most UK families are poised to climb significantly as part of the current gas pipe crisis. And with a change to the energy cap approaching this year, Energy Savings Week is national initiative that aims to aid and encourage individuals to save energy, while also lowering fuel expenses. This week focuses on educating the public on how to switch energy suppliers or tariffs to get the best price, get savings, and make houses more energy efficient. Saving energy at home may lower both carbon emissions and energy expenses, urging people, schools, organizations around the UK to help in making difference. Energy Saving Week is a countrywide program aimed at assisting individuals in lowering their fuel costs. It attempts to create awareness about energy efficiency, encouraging consumers and companies to learn more about switching energy supplies or tariffs to obtain the best price for or access discounts. So organized by Energy Saving Trust and Citizens Advice Bureau to raise awareness and provide support for the households to become more energy efficient to help manage energy costs and protect the planet by reducing emissions. So simple modifications such as tweaking heating settings or switching to LED lighting are predicted to save homeowners over £100 per year on their expenses and contribute to the UK attaining net zero emissions by 2050. The Council has made a variety of initiatives available to help homeowners to take action on climate change and made a variety of initiatives available to help homeowners take action on climate change and decrease their energy use. So these include programs to assist people in making their homes more energy efficient, giving lower rates on solar panels, and these include programs to assist people in making their houses more energy efficient, giving lower rates on solar panels, providing residents with an advising service to help them conserve energy in their homes, and assisting individuals facing financial difficulties with their energy bills. So, throughout Energy Saving Week, the Energy Saving Trust will bring together organizations from throughout the UK to provide easy and practical suggestions to help homes conserve energy, decrease their bills, and minimize the environmental impact of our energy consumption. So, saving energy unquestionably increases one's quality of life, reduce carbon emissions, unplugging equipment when not in use, turning off excess lights in a room, and choosing public transportation instead of driving are just few instances or initiatives for energy saving practices. So it will save you a lot of money, better insulation results, and reduce heat loss and warmer houses and cheaper utility costs. Being conscious of unnecessary energy consumption will assist you in saving it. So take the most of advantage of natural air and light. And changing to LED according to Energy Star. LED light bulbs consume up to 90% less energy than incandescent lighting. They are also a wise investment because they last 35 to 50 times longer than the incandescent bulbs. And examining your insulation, windows, and doors is one of the most effective ways of renovating your home for efficiency. Redoing it may be costly, but not as much as the annual heating bills will be. And it helps the environment, and it also saves money. This week is also National Adoption Week in the UK. The objective is to be of the week is to improve level of awareness about adoption, and this is done through several different lenses, from adoptees to acquired parents. They talk about being adopted, adopting, and how it feels. The awareness campaign intern amount aims to and this week is also National Health Education Week. In US, the Society for Public Health Education co-sponsors the week along with the US Department of Health and Human Sciences. So the purpose of health education is to improve the health status of people, communities, and the nation. Educators work to strengthen the quality of life for all the individuals and reduce And when health education specifically focus on prevention, it helps lower the financial burden spent on medical treatment. Chronic conditions like diabetes, Crohn's disease, and cancer make up more than 75% of the all money spent on healthcare in the United States alone each year. Educating the masses in health literacy is a large component of health status within the country. Without this subject being taught by education specialists, members of omitted communities can be negatively affected. So each day of National Health Education Week focuses on a different health education topic. And this first day ensures that the week starts out a strong note. And 21 is dedicated of campaigning health for vulnerable populations through advocacy. So this day focuses on groups who are historically ignored and silenced and have their trust violated in regards of the economic status. Educational opportunities, environment safety, and lack of healthcare access, trauma, socioeconomic status, and discrimination are all factors that can lead to the risk of developing a chronic disease. This week is also National Parenting Week in UK, which takes place is an event that highlights how important parenting skills are in society. So wondering, it is because the way a child is raised has a deep impact on his or her personality, the way they view life and how their personalities turn out to be when they grow up. Hence, attaining the perfect parenting skills is not a piece of cake, since it includes a perfect mix of confidence, love, emotional connection, trust, as well as other aspects that contribute of forming one's personality. Many developed nations across the globe are extremely particular about parenting skills. This is because over time, governments have realized that a child raised in a healthy atmosphere will be beneficial to the society in future, while children raised in in homes where violence exists, many become violent themselves or suffer from severe depression. And child protective services were formed in many nations to ensure parents follow required methods of raising children. These government organizations aim to ensure children are nurtured and raised right. However, children are not always raised like they are today, nor was attention placed on their emotional and social development. This points out to be an obvious fact that the parent skills have evolved based on the development of society and research. Some of the famous parenting styles were introduced by American psychologist Diana Baumrind. The psychologist developed the methods of parenting, summarizes as responsiveness and demandingness. Both these methods required the parents to be highly responsive to the child's emotional needs. Upon further analysis of these two styles, Bowman introduced four parenting styles to the world that included authoritative, authoritarian, neglecting, and indulgent. Furthermore, American psychologist John Gottman researched more on family interactions and recognized four styles with which parents handled a child's emotional states. Research also revealed physical punishment left a negative impact and often leads to hostility from the child. Many children even develop depression from unhealthy environments that parents take or create with a poor parenting approach. This week is special because it is dedicated to all the parents who had several sleepless nights due to their newborn or grown up children. Besides, raising teens isn't easy either, and parents need to be recognized for their efforts. And this week is also Pharmacy Week in United States, October 17 to 23. National Pharmacy Week is observed during the third full week of October and recognizes the invaluable contributions from pharmacists and technicians make to patient care. So pharmacists provide an essential service by connecting the needs of the patients to the pharmaceutical industry. Without pharmacists and pharmacies, medical attention and support would be non-existent and many people would succumb to their illness. Pharmaceutical practices encompass both traditional roles like medication compounding and dispensing and more modern healthcare services like clinical services, medication safety, efficacy reviews, and drug information. As a result, pharmacists are drug therapy experts and the primary health professionals who optimize medication use for the benefit of patients. Do you know that one in every two Americans take at least one prescription medicine in their lifetime? Because so many Americans use prescription of drugs, pharmacists are more important than ever in healthcare system. Pharmacists not only provide medicine to patients, but they also provide essential information. They must be thoroughly knowledgeable about the prescriptions they fill. This includes understanding how different medications interact with one another. In addition to dispensing medications, they work as researchers, educators, advocates, and counselors. Some pharmacists also give immunizations. They even help patients with weight loss and quitting smoking. And pharmacists frequently collaborate with insurance companies to ensure that their parents' prescribed medications are covered by their health insurance plans. The contributions and more are recognized by during National Pharmacy Week, which was proposed by Robert J. Ruth of Asheville, North Carolina in 1924 at the American Pharmacists Association annual meeting. The first event was held from October 11 to October 17, 1925. This week was later changed to National Pharmacy Week. So your friendly neighborhood pharmacists care for the entire community, including you and your family. So it's time to show your gratitude by dropping by the pharmacy with some gifts or some flowers or chocolates or bring some healthy snacks for their long work days. The history of pharmacies and pharmaceuticals is fascinating, dating back to near prehistoric times. So many books exist that give detailed history that are filled with interesting stories and examples of early prescription. So it's an educational and entertaining learning experience. Agatha Christie was a pharmacy technician, while Benjamin Franklin was a pharmacist, or some famous pharmacist. And the inventor of Coca-Cola, John Pemberton, was a pharmacist and carried out around his new product in a jug from pharmacy to pharmacy. And meditation can cost you millions. Libera, a gene therapy that aids in restoring lipoprotein lipase enzyme activity is the most expensive drug ever, with a wholesome cost of $1.21 million per year. The US first licensed pharmacist in early 1800s was Louis Duffalo Jr. of New Orleans became the first licensed pharmacist. And Lifter is iconic and expensive, best-selling pharmaceutical of all time, generating approximately $125 billion. This week is also Risk Awareness Week in United States. Risk Awareness Weeks takes place from October 17 to 21 this year, online by a team of experts to educate non-risk professionals and communities about potential risks and the necessary measures. Today is also National Day of Races. Meaning Day of Race commemorates the first contact between Europeans and Native Americans. On this day, Italian navigator Christopher Columbus first set foot with the Americas. It is the day to highlight the encounter of two worlds as well as reflect on the richness and racial diversity brought by this culture. So Colombia is bordered on the North Caribbean Sea, northwest by Panama, on the east by Venezuela and Brazil, and on the southwest by Peru and Ecuador. It is home to the world's second largest Spanish-speaking population. It has been home to many indigenous people from as early as to 12,000 BC, such as Musica, Tairona, and Cumbaya. The Musica had advanced culture whose economy centered on agriculture as well as trade of cotton, cloth, pottery, and gold. Many Spanish exporters, such as Christopher Columbus and also Alcani de Ojeda, made their way to the area around 1499, but would only establish their first settlement in 1510. The settlers conquered the indigenous people, stealing all their gold and jewelry by 1538. A new kingdom of Granada was created with Santa Fe de Bogota as its capital. Nearly 250 years of Spanish rule followed. So, tired of Spanish control, in 1811, the city of Cartagena declared its independence, with Bogota soon following. Spain tried to reclaim its control in 1850, but the Venezuelan general Simon Bolivar led Colombian forces to the victory over 1819. So the United Nations provinces of New Granada, of which Colombia was part, then declared its independence. After the country's downfall in 1835, Colombia became a separate nation. So the nation has suffered much military and political violence from 1960s to 1990s. Since 2005, stability and security have been improved significantly, which has led to much progress and economic growth. There is also National Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. Most of us neglect the condition on our computers. Technology is more advanced than ever. So we have to become accustomed to not maintaining them. Thanks to good folks on the Personal Computer Museum of Ontario, Canada, that has changed. On third Monday of October, people celebrate National Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. By doing that, just make sure desktops are clean. Back up your files. If you rarely clean your desktop, it is safe to assume that you barely back up your files. So here's an idea to do both. Back up your files to a second-hand hard drive and delete them from your computer. Organize your things. Can you see background picture on your desktop? Or it's being camouflaged by the army of documents on your screen? If the answer is yes, then clean it up. Organize your files by archiving them into folders and let it go. Let it go. Sorry, that song is so catchy, but we couldn't help but reference Frozen. All jokes aside, though, let's go of files you have been holding to. Do you really need them? Screenshot from 3 years ago. Trash it if the answer is no. So, why cleaning your virtual desktop is important? More speed. The logic behind the quiet. This is quite simple. The more things you have stored on your computer, a slower running machine. So this is because more RAM is being used. For those that do not know what RAM is, think of as it as a horsepower and memory. The heavier your car weighs, the more horsepower you use to travel. Clean up your computer as if it were to tune up and get to speed. And fresh start. Remember how quick your computer was when you first purchased it? Probably not, since you have cleaned in for months or years together. Get a fresh start by emptying the trash. Start over being by being more organized this time. Label your documents appropriately. Make it easy for yourself when you need to find them. So today is also National Edge Day. In US, the straight edge lifestyle means refraining from alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. So National Edge Day is by resetting your mind and body and exploring a unique way of life. If you always live straight edge, this is a great time to encourage your friends to try it with you. Look no further for plenty of ideas and activities to make Edge Day special. The hardcore punk band Minor Threat first released his song Straight Edge in 1981. The term was soon adopted as a title for the movement to refrain from using drugs, alcohol, and tobacco in June 1981. So in 1999, although people although people had begun to live the straight edge lifestyle in 1980s, the movement gained traction in 1990s. National Edge Day was created in 1999 in Boston during an event called the Edge Fest. Similarly, So straight edge is healthy, saves you money, and living straight edge gives you different perspective. And living straight edge lifestyle can open up your eyes to a different way of living. Take time to enjoy the simple things in the life without any distractions. Today is also National Pasta Day, which is celebrated. You can try increasing your volume because I can see the settings are same. Maybe everyone can respond if you are experiencing any issues with the volume levels in chat box. Others kindly respond. I can hear it's very loud and clear. Maybe if you can just check the volumes or mute and unmute. Others can hear, right? Okay. Okay, then we'll continue. We have almost come to an end. So the folks who created pasta definitely knew that they were doing hundreds of years of Italian tradition go into this simple meal and a special day to incredible dish. Pasta comes in many shapes and sizes, but no matter what the form, it's something nearly every American family has grown up with. And so spaghetti, fettuccine, macaroni, and ravioli. Pasta is undoubtedly one of the favorite comfort foods, but do we know how the dish became so popular here in the States or when it came from? Or the origins of pasta are a little bit difficult to trace, but many researchers support the theory that Marco Polo brought noodles back to Italy upon returning from a trip to China in 1271. Through this theory supports a tale of discovery and adventure. Mar- Marco Polo's travels are all retold through second-hand sources, making the accuracy questionable. However, if Marco Polo did bring pasta back to Italy, he certain wasn't the first to do so. Pasta was already a popular dish in Italy by early 13th century. Other historians have traced pasta back to ancient Etruscan civilizations who would grind cereals and grains before mixing them with water to produce their own pasta-like carbohydrate. Pasta was brought to America by early Spanish settlers, but wasn't popular until Thomas Jefferson made a trip to Paris and fell in love with macaroni, which at that time referred to any pasta shape. Years later, when a large group of Italian immigrants moved from Italy to America, pasta became a staple and obtainable meal in the United States. So So 75%, just the under 3/4 of the people surveyed as per their study eat pasta at least once in a week, with ever 1 in 20 eating pasta daily. And the 2.8% said more than 1 in 50 people surveyed responded that never eat pasta. And the most popular pasta dish, this one probably comes as no surprise, with more than 1 in 4 choosing spaghetti as their pasta of their choice. So, was looking at the favorite pasta sauce, red marina bolognese is leading, chosen by 51.95%, and white alfredo by 43.72%, and green pesto by 4.32%. So as per the survey, favorite brands of pasta remains Prego and Ragu. And how often do you eat pasta? By the respondents of the survey, many has responded 1 to 3 times a week, and next 3 to 5 times a week, and once in a week. So as of now, on record, we have around 350 different shapes of pasta, and it's impossible to get tired of this popular meal. So there are approximately 350 different types of pasta around the world. So mimic your own favorite or invent a unique pasta shape. Choose a basic pasta dough recipe, and then you can let the creativity run wild. And for those who have ever played a sport or have just grown up with pasta, there's nothing better than sharing a table with a group of teammates, friends, or family, or bonding over a large plate of spaghetti and meatballs. Whatever the occasion, invite some friends over to rekindle the joy of this family friendly castle. And due to conscious of climate change, you can go purely vegetarian, even with the spaghetti, and indulge in your favorite pasta dish because it's high in carbohydrates. Today is an ultimate cheat day. So make your reservation for favorite pasta place and indulge in oodles of noodles, or you can make it at home. And pasta is a timeless dish that evokes childhood memories, yet is still enjoyed far beyond childhood. It not only ageless, but also enjoyed by both seasoned chef and less experienced foodie alike. But it should be an occasional meal. Don't make it a daily routine. It can take a toll on your health, as that is not our proprietary food. In fact, pasta and rice are three popular foods enjoyed the globe. So next time you are hosting a dinner party, keep in mind pasta is a real crowd pleaser. But the way it serves and the way it is prepared is more important, as it comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors, vary due to different cultural differences, ingredients, and the sauce they are paired with. Americans typically like more popularized shapes such as spaghetti or fettuccine, whereas Italians prefer shapes that can hold more sauce. Kids can even get pasta in the shape of their favorite cartoon, like SpongeBob, Mac, and Cheese, anyone. And today is also National Payback a Friend Day. After conducting an in-depth study on how money affects relationships, Bank of America designated October 17th as National Payback a Friend Day. This study, which is called Friends Again report, found that 53% of its participants have ended a friendship after they loaned a friend money and were never paid back. As a result, to combat this issue, National Payback a Friend was created. So on October 17th, put away the bad feelings, pull up your mobile payment apps, and start paying your ex friends back. Most of the time, we have seen we lost very good friends because either they have not returned back or either we have not returned back them, which we have loaned, taken as a hand loan, some amount of money. So this day is a perfect day, National Payback a Friend. And PayPal started under the name Confinity, the trailblazer for online payments launched in 1998. And Braintree and acquired Venmo for $26.2. PayPal later brought Braintree for $800 million, and PayPal came out onto the top in 2012. Another payment app popped up in 2017, Zelly, a payment app owned by many of the big banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase, to name a few, launched a person-to-person payment system in 2017. So it is a perfect opportunity to pay back to our friend to whom which we have owe back. So obviously the best way to celebrate National Payback a Friend Day is to pay back a friend. And thanks to all the apps out there. Now we have Paytm, Google Pay, and Beam app and whatnot, UPI apps. So finding someone is easy. And so paying back them is also easy. And if you can't pay them back, find other ways. Offer them free babysitting or dog sitting or whatever. No, it's always not. You may not always pay in cash. You can also sometimes pay in kind. So look for more opportunities and find other ways. Just be sure to acknowledge that they have loaned you money and thank them for helping you out. And organize your finances. Use this National Payback a Friend as an opportunity to figure out other debts you have. You may have credit card money you may owe to family members, students, loans, and make a proactive plan to get it caught up. Nearly 80% of the Americans feel that owing a friend money is bad for their friendship. That's why even in India also many times we are a little bit hesitant. We have seen among friendships people do not lend money because once taken, they will also end the friendships even. So that is major problem. We can see among the friends they take money and you know sometimes not everyone is like that, but they never return. So this is one common problem seen, especially in people among, especially friends. So 80% of the Americans feel that owing a friend money is bad for their friendship. So they don't owe money to their friends. So millennials have a bad reputation. And lots of people believe that millennials are the demographic that will most likely not pay a friend back, especially teens. Teenagers are very well known and have a very bad reputation that a teenage friend, if takes money from you, he will never pay back. Most likely, may not be true in all cases, in all circumstances, but you know, most of the times, as per the study, it states so, as per the research. And apparently, there's a price on friendship. Nearly half of all Americans are willing to terminate a friendship because of money. Not only in US, I think even in India also, and various other counterparts, because they have to give back money. So better instead of giving money, they terminate friendships, and they do not even, contact or respond. They just unfriend it. You see how precious friends are lost for the sake of money. And the amount of money people claim they loaned to friends were never paid back averages out to $2,092 per person. See how much amount was lost. And why this day is important? Because debts cause stress. This can help elevate it. Losing a friend over money is stressful, and this day puts on the road to healthier friendships and finances. And it also helps to improve your communication skills. Talking about money is hard, especially with a friend. So National Payback a Friend Day is a reminder to step out your comfort zone and acknowledge the awkward feelings. And it can help mend lost friendships also. If you are feeling a regret about friendship loss due to financial issues, so National Payback a Friend is a perfect time to reach out. And if things don't go the way planned, at least you can have peace of mind knowing you tried. So always look for opportunities and have open communication. You know, if your friend knows that you are still your inability to repay back, maybe he can wait for some more time. And you also have make some genuine efforts. If you are not able to pay back in cash, at least try to pay back in kind. And today uh, is also Black Poetry Day. If you are a literature enthusiast, poet or writer, no matter what your race, you are absolutely love Black Poetry Day. You can celebrate Black heritage and history. And it is celebrated in commemoration of the birth of the man popularly referred to as father of American literature, Jupiter Hammond, the first book published by Black poet in the United States of America. So Black Poetry Day is day to recognize the contributions of the Black poets to literature and celebrate the Black experience as retold in poetry. And today is also Wear Something Gaudy Day. So if you want to show off some more Mizare items in your closet, this day is to do so, whether it's chunky, rhinestone studded belt, a pink velour, juicy contour tracksuit, whatever it may be. So Wear Something Gaudy Day first came into existence in 1970s sitcom Three Company, which was Three's Company, which was based on British TV show called Man About the House. So the holiday didn't catch on immediately, but over time, Californian native began celebrating it in their trackiest outfits. Today, it is celebrated all over US. So what are gaudy clothes? Gaudy clothes are those that are considered tasteless for being too brightly colored or eye-catching or otherwise unfashionable. So it is only celebrated nationwide in US but not worldwide. So as it is originated in an American sitcom and was later adopted throughout the country. And retailers may or may not celebrate this day, but don't need a fork out money to participate, as it is as simple as matching two very brightly colored pieces from your broad wardrobe together. Organize a photo shoot, attend a theme party, and host a competition. And people who love gaudy clothes are usually extroverts. Brightly colored clothes that grab everyone's attention are usually preferred by people who are more outgoing, and men wore jumpsuits, shorts, and tights that were brightly colored and very eye-catching. And wearing too many accessories is also considered gaudy, especially if the stones on your general jewelry are large and catch the light in obvious way. And rhinestones, whale tails, and embellished caps are slowly coming back in style. And basically, it's like wearing a bright colored colors, clothes, or fashionable accessories. Breaking fashionable rules, those are tackiest, brightest, and most unfashionable of the outfit. So finally, the last commemoration for today is the Women in Military Service for America Memorable Anniversary. Is a day that paid tribute to the millions of military women who lost their lives in the service. Yes, men aren't only the saviors during the war, and the US history includes many females who contributed to success in combat. These military women use their intellect and strength to protect the nation and sees as inspirational figures today. This year, honor these brave women by paying a special tribute to their accomplishment in times of war. So in 1997, a memorial was erected for them by US government, and it's popularly known as the Military Women's Memorial. The space honors military women who died in the service and contains a hemicycle structure that was built in 1932. The structure, however, remained in a bad condition till Congress gave the order of building a memorial around it in 1988. This decision was followed by a design competitions which was thrown to public and won the Marion West and Michael Manfredi, who were architects from New York. Although the initial design of the memorial became an open secret, which resulted in controversies and a revision of the design, in the end, an intriguing structure with a mixture of neoclassical and modern architecture was built in for the brave women who live in the memorial. So Loretta Perfectus Walsh became the first American official enlisted woman of any service when she joined Navy, and Colonel Ruby Bradley was the United States Army Nurse Corps officer, a prisoner of Japanese in the World War II, and is one of the most decorated women in the US military. And Milunka Savik CMC is the most decorated female combatant in the recorded history of warfare in US. And in US, number of women veterans comprise 10% of the total veteran population. And the oldest woman veteran known is Julia Cabbens of the Women's Army Corps, died at the age of 111 years. And working age of females is almost 84% of female veterans are of working age 17 to 64 years compared to 55% of male veterans. So they were for more years. And the first 20 women of the corps were known as Sacred 20 and led by Esther Hassan. And highest concentration of female veterans are in Alaska in the US states with the highest concentration of women veterans in its population. So this day is important as it honors women. Many times the achievements of women in the army are ignored. The day remembers that the women have lost their lives while fighting for the US. And it's also a reminder that nothing is possible. The day is an example of how anything is possible if you believe in it. Yes, fighting wars and defeating the enemy through tactical strategies is not reliant on gender. Women are equally and are more capable. And it's a reminder of women's resilience. Ever thought of fighting a war or picking up a weapon? Well, this day is a great example how many other women have remained fearless till their last breath. So there are many other commemorations, but like Day of Races, which is a significant holiday despite from resistance in the indigenous community. So with this, we shall end the commemorations for the day. And thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you all had a very good, enjoyed the sessions. So I would be sharing the feedback form. Yeah, feedback form has been raised. So quickly fill up the feedback form in the form of polls. Do not close the form until you fill up all the details and submit. So before leaving, Dear friends, before leaving, make sure that you are filling up the feedback form. It is mandatory for the certificates. And see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form.